Hello, everybody. As you know, my name is John Hall, and I am your instructor for this course. Because I have given you an assignment to do a demonstration presentation, I thought that tonight I would do a demonstration presentation for you, just to give you an idea of kind of what I'm looking for. Okay? Now, normally, if we were meeting in the classroom face to face, I would do this in class and show you a live demonstration. Obviously, I can't do that tonight, so I'm going to record one here. You've seen some examples already with song-based special ramen. You saw Lucy doing the Vita Pino Vegemin. You've seen the exact instructions challenges, as well as some other videos online. Now, just as with like song-based special ramen, you saw some things that he did very well. You also saw some things that he did not do so well. I'm certain that in my demonstration tonight, you will see some things that hopefully I do well. And I'm sure you will look at some things that I do and think, oh, that wasn't very good. And that's okay, because none of us are perfect. All of us make mistakes, all of us can improve. But the idea is that when you do a demonstration, when you do presentations, that as you do them, you get a little more comfortable and a little more relaxed. This is actually more difficult for me than doing it in class because I really do not like being recorded. I would rather do something live in person. I'm more relaxed and more comfortable doing that. So right now I feel a little nervous about doing the recording here, but I'll do the best I can. Now, in the exact instructions challenge, you saw a couple of different things. They also did something with ramen, but they did something called a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, some of you may have never heard of that before, but in the US, where I'm from, that's a very common snack. And the great thing about peanut butter and jelly is that it's portable. You can take it with you. It does not need to be refrigerated. You don't have to keep it cold. So it's great for taking on a hike or a picnic or even an overnight camping trip because it won't spoil. Eventually, the jelly will kind of turn to wine, but it still won't hurt you. Okay, so it's great for going somewhere where you need food, you need some energy, but you can't cook and you can't refrigerate something. And it's something you can prepare in advance and take it with you. In Korea, of course, you have some very common snacks, some quick food you can eat. Obviously, you saw from Songbei, and I'm sure many of you eat ramen. I love ramen once in a while, sometimes more often than that. And it's a great snack. But even with ramen, you need hot water and you need some chopsticks or something to eat it with. And it's not that nutritious, really. It doesn't have a lot of nutritional value to it. Kimbap is also really popular, and it's healthier. It's got rice and vegetables, usually some sort of meat in it. So it's really good. But can you make it yourself? Some of you probably can, but it takes a lot of preparation. You have to cook the rice. Some of the vegetables have to be cooked. The eggs have to be cooked. You have to cut everything just so. So it actually takes a lot of effort. Now, you can always go to a convenience store or a kimbap shop and buy some, but then you have to eat it fairly quickly. You could maybe take it on a hike or something, but it does need to be refrigerated if you're going to keep it for very long. So it has some limitations. You can't make it yourself easily, and it needs refrigeration. Again, the great thing with peanut butter and jelly is you don't need those things. It's easy to take with you. It doesn't need refrigeration. You can prepare it in advance and anybody can do it. It's so simple. A child can do this. And a lot of children do. In the US, we use peanut butter and jelly sometimes for breakfast, or sometimes, a lot of times, kids will take it to school with them for lunch, or in the afternoons. After school, kids get home around 3 o'clock. A lot of times they're hungry. A lot of times the school lunches aren't really that satisfying. So when they get home from school, they're hungry, but it's still a few hours until dinner time. So they might make themselves, or their mom might make them, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So they're great for taking with you. We call it like a bag or a sack lunch in a paper bag. You can take it on a hike or a picnic. They're great for after school. Sometimes a late night snack. Sometimes I'll make one late at night, midnight snack, because they're really easy and simple. And it's somewhat nutritious. Peanut butter is actually really good for you. It's got a lot of protein in it, which of course is good. It does have fat from the nuts, but it's generally a healthy fat. So it's actually pretty good for you. In the jelly or jam or preserves, whatever you use, it is made with real fruit. So you do get some vitamins, some nutrients there. Unfortunately, there is a lot of sugar in it. But there are sugar-free versions or low sugar, so you can do that. The bread depends on what kind you use. This week when I went to Paris Baguette to buy some bread, all they had was this little baby loaf. That's the only bread they had because I went at night. But you can use white bread, you can use a wheat bread, some kind of brown bread. I usually use Roman meal bread, which is one of my favorites. I don't have that tonight, but white bread is also really good too. So before I got started here, I wiped everything down with one of these disinfecting wipes. These are from Costco. Unfortunately, they don't sell these in Korea anymore, but I still have some left from the last time I bought them. So I wiped everything down so everything's clean. So let me just put those over there. And I'm going to go ahead and use some hand sanitizer here also. This is some that I bought from Coupon. It's just called Neo Medical, just a alcohol-based hand sanitizer. So let me use that. It doesn't matter so much tonight because I'm the only one eating this. But if you're cooking for other people, especially, sanitation is really important. Now you do need some paper towels or a paper plate or a regular plate. I'm just going to put a couple of paper towels down here. And then we need to get the bread ready. And let's see how, this is a brand new loaf, so I'm not sure how securely it is fastened here. There we go, one end. Okay. And you can see this loaf is not sliced yet, so I'm going to have to use my knife here. Just throw that over there to make a couple of slices of bread. And you want these, you know, what about 1 centimeter maybe? That first piece is pretty thick there. Let me do a couple of middle slices. That one's really thick too. Okay, good enough. So I've got a couple of pieces of bread here. Obviously these are kind of small. This feels almost like cake. You can use any kind of bread you want though. Some people like the middle pieces. Some people like the end piece. We call this the heel. Just like the back of your shoe, the back of your foot is called the heel. This is the back, the end of the loaf of bread, so that's also called the heel. Some people like the heel. I usually eat it too, but tonight we'll just use this. And I'm going to open up the peanut butter here. And you want to get a couple of tablespoons. A tablespoon size is like a soup spoon size. That's a tablespoon. So maybe a couple of tablespoons. That may be too much for this bread. But you want enough that you can taste it. Now you don't want to just put in the middle like that. That's not good. So make sure that you spread it all the way around evenly. Now I like a lot of peanut butter on mine so I can really taste it. Some people just put a really thin layer. I put a pretty good amount. The important thing is make sure you get it all the way to the edges so that you get peanut butter in every bite. Now, I've got some peanut butter left on the knife. You can kind of wipe it on there, get most of it off. Another thing you can do is just sort of clean it on the other piece of bread. Just wipe it off so it's nice and clean. And then we need the jelly. Actually, tonight I'm using some grape jam, which is a really popular type. And this is from a company called Smucker's. It's a really a large company. And you don't need as much jam as you do peanut butter, so maybe 1 tablespoon. You put that on there. And again, you want to make sure you spread it all the way to the edges. I can't hold this up as long because it's going to fall off the bread. It's a little more runny. It's not as thick and sticky as the peanut butter. But again, make sure you get it all the way to the edges. And you can see when I was holding it there, some of the jelly dripped onto the peanut butter. So when you put it together, you don't want to put the jelly on top because it can drip, it can make a mess, it can get on the table. You can just put the peanut butter on top like that, or you can even kind of hold them side by side and just kind of fold them together like that. Now, I cut this bread pretty thick, so that's a really thick sandwich. Another thing you can do though, when you want to eat, before you eat it, you can cut it in half, which I usually do. You can cut it kind of down the middle like this and make 2 rectangles, or you can cut it diagonally and make some triangles, which that's what I like to do. That way you've got kind of sharp points to eat it from. And so you can see when you cut into it there, you've got some nice peanut butter and jelly in every part of it. So like I said, this is really simple. It's a very basic demonstration, but it shows you something easy you can make, something you can take with you. You can just put this in a plastic bag and carry it with you. And so when you're studying for exams or watching your videos at home, maybe you get hungry, you want a snack. Maybe you want something a little different than ramen. You don't want to go out to the kimbap shop. Make some peanut butter and jelly. This is something you can easily keep at home. The only thing is the jelly or the jam should be in the refrigerator, but the peanut butter does not need to be. So this is something that you can easily make, and it's a little more nutritious. And with the protein and the sugar and the carbohydrates from the bread, it also gives you some nice quick energy, as well as some lasting energy from the fats and the protein. So next time you're hungry, you want a snack, maybe think about having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. All right, that's my little demonstration. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to enjoy this sandwich before I go home. As you can see here, I'm in the office tonight. When I do this in class, I actually make a whole bunch of these so that you can eat them. I give everybody a little piece of a sandwich so you can try them out. Unfortunately, I can't do that tonight. So I'm just going to eat this one by myself and tell you how good it is.